Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA.
Cool shoes. My brother would love those.
Ooh, I don't share my sources.
Well, I just found them using Circle to search with Google on my new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6.
What?
And I texted them to my brother on the other side of this massive screen.
Where did you get that phone?
Lucky for you, I don't gatekeep my sources. Tell them.
Get your own Galaxy Z Fold 6 now at Samsung.com. Requires internet connection. Results may vary by uniqueness, clarity, and framing of circled image and related factors.
We are thrilled to have on the show today Myka Meier, a leading etiquette trainer to celebrities and us regular folks alike. She is redefining modern etiquette, saying goodbye to the outdated norms of yesteryear and ushering us into a new era of etiquette, including royal-themed courses like her online Duchess Effect course, where we can learn tricks to employ the style, grace, and poise of a royal into our own daily lives. So Myka founded both Beaumont Etiquette and the esteemed Plaza Hotel finishing program, and she's written 2 best-selling etiquette books, Modern Etiquette Made Easy, a 5-step method to mastering etiquette, and also Business Etiquette Made Easy, the essential guide to professional success. She is an etiquette coach and teaches multiple classes, including lessons on dining etiquette, hostessing, business etiquette, and royal protocol, which is why she's hanging out with us today. She's been featured in Vogue, Town and Country, Harper's Bazaar, Elle Decor, InStyle, People, Fast Company, and Brides everywhere, and has made appearances on Good Morning America and The Today Show. She is currently, I'm so excited to talk about this, embarking on a national tour, including hosting a royal etiquette course in New York City at the iconic Plaza Hotel on October 19th. We are so happy to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for such a warm welcome.
Gosh, you are so accomplished. Like, I mean, I knew that, but my goodness, reading your bio, you just have done so much. And you are an etiquette expert. More specifically, you're an expert in royal etiquette, which is why Podcast Royal is a great fit to have you on. So how does royal etiquette differ from etiquette for the rest of us? Or even does it? Is it just etiquette on a heightened level? Is there a difference?
So, it's a lot of what royal etiquette is truly can be used in day-to-day life for anyone. And I think that is, of course, there's protocol that takes place in a palace or when you're meeting a royal, which might not happen every day, but there's so much that's day to day. And when I was trained by a former member of the Queen of England's household staff. And when she was training me, she also trained Princess Diana. And so as she was training me, she would say, okay, let's go over this again. Oh, Diana, Princess Diana, she, this was something she had trouble learning too. And she would just kind of like, float those things in, or Diana would, oh, she loved this one. And that was kind of my initial aha moment of, wait a second, Princess Diana learned what I'm learning, and I'm just an average person. So maybe this is something that, I can one day share with people too. So a lot of it is everyday etiquette, really.
Well, I would love to know more about how you got into the study of etiquette. And can you tell us the importance of learning this skill and if it matters still in 2024?
Yes. So I think, etiquette matters more than ever today, because the thing is that we're not using etiquette of Princess Diana now passed 26 years ago. We're not using all of the etiquette from 26 years ago, but the core of etiquette, which is to show kindness and respect and thinking of other people first, that is still today. That's every day. And I would argue that we need it now more than ever, because there's, so much going on in the world. And can you imagine if people put kindness and respect into everyday actions, right? Can you imagine how much of a kinder place we would be? And I think that is something that, royals to this day, really hold true. And I think, when you meet royals, especially specifically the British royals, I think, people expect to have these certain expectations of them, but truly when you meet them, they are, I would say as a general statement, the British royal family, they're so kind and they're so grateful, and they treat everybody around them with kindness. And King Charles, he will thank the master of ceremonies And he will also spend almost just as much time with the person serving him on a platter, the person who's the caterer of the event. And I've witnessed it myself personally and seen that he really does treat people all the same. And I think that's a lesson that we can use in everyday life for sure.
Everyone I've ever heard that has met a royal has walked into the experience so nervous, but then they leave feeling so warm. Like the interaction is always so warm, and that might not be like the forks and the knives type of etiquette, but that's etiquette nonetheless. It's manners, it's grace, it's poise, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that all plays into it.
It's exactly right. And the thing is that sometimes it could be people think exactly what you've just said. Like etiquette's just about forks and knives and that's it. But it is so much more. And
Mm-hmm.
it's walking into a room and making everyone feel important. And when we see, Prince William and we see Princess Catherine walk into a room, they that's their job. That is their job, to make people feel welcome and not intimidated by them. And that's the polar opposite of what they want. And that's what I think makes modern royals, especially the younger generation of royals, so approachable and modern, because you do see them take selfies, and you do see them
Yeah.
really wanting to be more relatable. So it's definitely something that is still very important to use every day.
Well, I've been studying your work for a long time, following it for a long time, and I'm really excited to talk about this. So, you are currently embarking on a national tour. You teach, as we mentioned at the top of the show, a Duchess Effect online course, for example, that teaches dining and afternoon tea tips, royal themed fashion. I would like love to take this. I need to make this a priority. And style tips, grooming, hair, makeup inspiration, posture, deportment lessons, royal themed etiquette hacks. So for the full picture, listeners, you'll have to take the course yourself, of course. But can you give us all maybe one royal themed etiquette hack that we can maybe all start employing today?
Okay, sure. So let's do a style one, which we can
Ooh,
use
okay.
kind of every day. So
Okay.
one style hack that I think is important is when it comes to jewelry. So with jewelry, you'll see that the royal family, they actually pre 6 p.m., they don't wear diamonds, really,
Mm,
generally speaking. There might be a tiny stud or a tiny diamond in a piece of jewelry, but pre 6 p.m., they stick to metallic jewelry, pearls, gemstones. And then post 6 p.m. is when the big sparkles come out,
mm.
and which is also considered black tie or more formal attire. So it's something that, you might have this big, beautiful, glittery, something that you'd love to wear, but actually it can be seen as showy, and it can be seen as making other people around you feel like they have less than you. So at a formal event, black tie event, that's when that is worn in the royal family. But pre 6 p.m., they're really quite subtle, and they usually stick to 2 or 3 pieces of jewelry in addition to marital or religious pieces, or an engagement ring, for example, and not much more than that. And they also really, I think, they steer clear, generally speaking, of big brand, like really overly branded pieces. So if you see, also because of not wanting to show favoritism or be too branded, because they are their own brands, but if they're not sticking to a British brand, which they don't always, then it's something that they might wear, for example, Burberry, to show, love of a British brand, or when they travel on tour, the love of a local brand to show support, but they're probably not wearing a big logo ever across their chest or
Hmm.
something that's too branded themselves. So 2 little style hacks you can use at home.
Okay, I guess I'll keep my tiaras off until 6 p.m. I've been trying to bring them out at 4:30, but all right. I guess just kidding, obviously.
Yeah, that's a great tip. So you were trained in London by a former member of Her Majesty the Queen's household staff. Can you tell us how much etiquette training do royals take part in? Are they really highly trained in this skill?
It really depends on the royal. So, for example, the Duchess of Sussex, was very vocal and said she didn't receive any etiquette training.
Hmm.
And then it is known that, Princess Catherine did receive training, but it was done by royal aides. We know for a fact also that Princess Diana received intensive etiquette training. And she had already been brought up in a very formal environment. Remember, she came from, a family that, etiquette was very, and formality was very already ingrained in her. And they still felt she needed etiquette training. So I think now if we look at the younger royal generation that is coming up, it's all being done by Princess Catherine and Prince William. So there's no external, agency or instructor coming in. And it is something though that is being done. For example, I have a really good story. I have a friend who lives in Kensington, and she told me the story. She was walking up Kensington Church Street, which is right where Kensington Palace is off of. And she was walking, and she was in a bit of a hurry, and there was a woman with her children, and she said, "Oh, excuse me." And the children quickly, the woman turned around and said, "Oh, excuse us," and ushered the children over. But she just had a little bit of a command of her eyes and looked down at the children, and 1, 2, 3, all three of the children quickly, very quickly, just hopped over to the right and made eye contact and kind of greeted my friend, and she rushed past them. And as she was a few feet ahead, and she acknowledged and said, to herself, "Wow, what well-behaved children to take, such a subtle command, but do exactly as they needed to do to show respect to me, so I could get by." And as she looked back, she saw that it was their nanny, and it was George and Charlotte and
Wow.
Louis. So it was, yeah. And so she said, as I passed, I thought, oh my goodness. So they are receiving very formal training, but it is done with the family and the nanny. And as they grow older, as they attend events, they'll be briefed by aides about who they're meeting, how to greet that person. And Prince George has already started undergoing that type of training as he's going to more and more events with his parents.
Well, I'm in full support of your statement that etiquette has a place in modern society. I wish that we had more decorum and manners personally. I think it's cool that you're redefining modern etiquette from the outdated norms of yesteryear. What is a more modern? Because there's obviously tons of historical, archaic, archival etiquette hacks that we still, some of which we still employ today. But what is a new etiquette hack that we're using in 2024 that maybe wasn't around 50 years ago?
Cool shoes. My brother would love those.
Ooh, I don't share my sources.
Well, I just found them using Circle to Search with Google on my new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6.
What?
And I texted them to my brother on the other side of this massive screen.
Where did you get that phone?
Lucky for you, I don't gatekeep my sources. Tell them.
Get your own Galaxy Z Fold 6 now at Samsung.com. Requires internet connection. Results may vary by uniqueness, clarity, and framing of circled image and related factors.
I think it's probably technology. I would say, for example, the royal family also, they use emails and texts just like us, and emails, and Princess Catherine famously uses Evite to send out invitations. So I always say, when people say, "Do I have to send a formal invitation anymore?" I always say, well, if the royal family can send out a christening invitation via Evite, we all can too. It's also more environmentally friendly. So I would say email etiquette, text etiquette. I think with emails, one thing that I know is practiced in the royal family, which is also we can practice every day when it comes to technology etiquette and emails, is that the most formal or the most important person on the email, their email comes first. So if I'm writing to the most important person and say somebody who is their PA or their assistant, then the most important person's email comes first, followed by the second email. And then also the email itself is dear and the most VIP name, and then second name after. And that's to show respect. So I think that's one thing that the palace practices that we also can use in our everyday lives, is most people now communicate, the majority of people in communication is via email. So I think that's one thing we can all do at home.
Can you tell us, I think this is a fun question, what is the best piece of etiquette advice that you have ever received?
That's a really good one. I think the best piece of etiquette advice I have ever received was from Nicholas Coleridge. And he He was when I was working with him, he was actually working on the campaign for wool with, at the time, Prince Charles and I. And I was on this, a pretty intimate team actually. And we were talking about somebody being late to our event. And he said, when they arrive, we must not make them feel bad in any way. And even though this person was very, very late, it wasn't a royal. And everybody's very frustrated. And he said, when somebody comes in, they're already flustered. So our job here is to make them feel instantly comfortable, even though they are in the wrong. We never kick someone when they're down. Clearly, they've had a bad morning. So when they come in, we treat them with the utmost kindness. When they say they're late, we say, no, you are in perfect time. Please, we were just getting started. And I said, well, okay, but we're an hour late. And he said, nope, we never point that out. Instead, we will just say, don't worry, everything is perfect. You're in perfect time. Just please come in and make yourself comfortable. And his point there was that the person's already late. They already, are going to acknowledge that. We don't want to make them feel even worse for whatever reason. And it was something that, it's a lesson about making other people feel comfortable and not further pointing out fault or further pointing out issue. And his point was, we don't correct bad etiquette. It is bad etiquette. It's bad etiquette to correct bad etiquette, because you don't ever want to make somebody feel bad.
That is fantastic advice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that actually lesson, I put in one of my books, you don't correct bad etiquette, it is bad etiquette. Wow. Because I think that's just generally speaking, a good lesson to know, I think.
No, that's so good. One of my favorite aspects about your work, parts of your work, is you coined the royal etiquette term, the Duchess Slant, which is now an internationally recognized term for how a royal sits. And once you know what the Duchess Slant is, you see it. Like you see royals doing it all the time. You can't unsee it once you see it. It really is employed by basically all royal women. So can you tell us, I can't I struggle to describe what the Duchess Slant looks like. You're an expert, so I'm sure you can. Can you tell us more about the Duchess Slant, and as best you can, obviously with audio only, teach us how to do the Duchess Slant?
Yes, of course. So the Duchess Slant is a description of a way that one royal sitting position. So this position was really originally made famous by Princess Diana, and then later, kind of in our generation, popularized by, at the time, if she was just Kate Middleton when we first saw her kind of sit like this. But it is a way that when you are sitting straight on with people in front of you, to protect your modesty, so that if somebody's eye line is within your dress or skirt, or a camera, for example, then you still stay protected. And what it is, if everybody can do it right now, as we're all sitting together. So you're sitting down, your feet are flat on the floor, and your posture, is good. You're not using armrests, so your shoulders are rolled back, knees and ankles are together. Then you actually just take your knees, and it doesn't matter if you go to the left or the right, but you swivel your knees down to the floor. So you're angling them so that your legs are now making a zigzag, almost like a Z. So that if someone were standing in front of you or sitting in front of you, your knees are pointed down, your knees and ankles are still together, feet or heels flat on the floor. And so that you create this very elegant sitting pose that really looks quite flattering. And also you can't see up anyone's dress or skirt. So that famous picture of Princess Diana in front of the Taj Mahal is an perfect example of the Duchess Slant.
That's the Duchess Slant. That's it.
That's the Duchess Slant. And think about all the paparazzi and the hundreds of cameras that were in front of her, going straight up her, dress or skirt angle wise. And she was able to sit like the most elegant, royal we can imagine, and not let anybody, have a wrong angle, really. So that is something that we can all do when you're on stage, when you're in front of a boardroom table, when you are at a school meeting, whatever it might be that you use this. But it's one of my favorite sitting positions and something we can all do at home.
I'm Duchess Slanting right now. You can't.
I am too.
I'm Duchess Slanting.
I love that. I can see it in my head.
Yes.
I knew
Bravo.
you were, Rachel. I was over here practicing.
I'm Duchess slanting by myself in my living room.
Amazing. I actually just did on my Instagram this week. I put that into the into one of my sitting positions to teach people. And it's funny because I don't even have to say what it is now. And people say, oh, the Duchess Slant.
Yep, it's so
So
popular. Yeah.
It's but yeah, it's quite fun to see that. I actually, somebody sent me a picture from China and said, "Hi, Mike. I just wanted to let you know, I took a class today and they were teaching your pose." I just thought that was it was just really a very cool moment to see that, etiquette is global and
That's
that,
right.
something can be used all the way around. So we are Duchess slanting at the same time. Somebody in China might be Duchess slanting at the same time. Princess Catherine might be Duchess slanting. So we
Love that. Love that.
Okay, I've got a lot of fun questions for you today. So this is another fun one. What is one etiquette mistake that you see made most often?
I would say, and it's probably my biggest pet peeve too, is people not giving up seats or opening doors for people in need. And it doesn't, it used to be, old fashioned etiquette would be, you'd give up a seat for a lady. It was what, etiquette books from the 1950s, 60s say. But it is not about that at all. It's not about gender at all. It is about whoever needs a seat. So regardless of gender, if somebody is standing and in need, whether they have a baby in their arms, they're pregnant, they have a cane, they just look a little like they're looking for a seat, they look in need. If you can give a seat to somebody in need or open the door if somebody has their hands full, that means they're in need too. So if you can help somebody who is struggling in any way, or is in need in any way, and you are stronger in a stronger position, then just open the door, give them your seat. And it just breaks my heart, to see, at the amount of times walking in New York that I will just, I'm just constantly like giving seats and looking at people who are, very strong. And then I look up and I see an elderly person holding on to a bus handle and swaying. And I'm like, gosh, like this
That
is
makes me
something so
sad.
easy.
Yeah.
Just look up, people, look up. That's someone's grandma, grandpa. That's, so that is my biggest pet peeve and something I see probably the most common, where I'm just like, just help someone out. It makes such a big difference to that person. It could.
Well, as we start to close our time together, and we have enjoyed this so much, Jessica and I are both big believers in the power of etiquette. But what would you say to someone who may still be a skeptic about the importance of etiquette?
I would say, you have to use etiquette that's right for you. Not all guidelines are going to be right for you. So if you pick and choose the guidelines that feel right for your life, your situation, your culture, your country, then I think etiquette's for everyone. And so, for example, if it doesn't feel right to use formal dining etiquette and hold your fork and knife in a certain way, that might not be applicable to you. But treating people with kindness and introducing yourself to somebody who's standing by themselves is excellent etiquette and shows fantastic manners. And that certainly, should apply to everyone. So I think there's always something in etiquette that is good for everyone. And to retrain your brain to think it's not about just the 1% of the world using etiquette. It's about kindness and respect and showing that to other people. So if when you don't just show up to a meeting or to meet your friend, you don't just roll out of bed and not brush your hair, comb your hair, or put an outfit on. Because by putting yourself together, you're showing respect to the person you're meeting with, so there's etiquette in every day. So I would say if you're a skeptic, I would encourage you to learn a little bit more about etiquette and see how it can really help you every day as well as other people. It's actually a beautiful thing to live through and share. So I would say I would encourage that.
We want our listeners to know first where they can find you. And then also, can you share some tour information and how listeners can get tickets to come see you, especially if they want to visit the Plaza on October 19th?
Yes. Okay. So I'm currently in the middle of my fall tour. So we still have stops in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, and of course, New York City. So you can head to my website for tickets, and that's beaumontetiquette.com. And you'll see the national tour page and tickets. I think some of the stops are sold out. We still have a couple of spots for the Royal Etiquette course left at the Plaza, which is one of my favorite courses to teach.
That's
We
just
even do
so
like,
iconic. Oh my God.
yeah, we do a tiara try on and everything. So
Ah,
it is so much fun and very Instagram worthy of a class, I can tell you that. And then if I also do online training. So if you are somewhere else in the world or you can't make it to the tour, also on my website, there's online courses that you can take at any time, including the Duchess Effect. And then, both of my books are available on Amazon, Modern Etiquette Made Easy and Business Etiquette Made Easy. And otherwise, on social media or YouTube, you can learn for free. And I've got lots of fun things on there. And then my handle is just at Myka Meier, which is MYKAMEIER. And yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. And I would love if you come visit me or see me online to say hi. And I would love to share my knowledge with all of you and make it fun and know that we are all in the end Duchess slanting together, no matter where we might
amen.
be.
Amen.
Wonderful. Well, for our listeners, you can pick up Myka's two books, Modern Etiquette Made Easy and Business Etiquette Made Easy, which are both out right now, as well as her online courses. Like she said, you can also catch her on the national tour. Like she said, she'll be at stops in Chicago, Austin, LA, San Francisco, and New York, of course, at the Plaza. So thank you so much for joining us today, Myka, and for your expertise.
Thank you so much for having me. And clearly one of my favorite topics. So it's been a delight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.